Hey, sexy people. It's Kathy Klotz-Guest. Welcome to the Sexy Live After Dark California Storm edition of the Yes and Brand show. I have no power. I got no power today, but there's always a way. So my garage door was taken out by not having any power. I had to figure out how to get into the house after taking my kid to school, getting to the gym. And we managed to MacGyver get through that hurdle. Then I got inside and I had, of course, no internet. I had no internet. I still don't have any power. The California storms have knocked out everything. It's taken out my internet, my power. And I don't have any battery packs that are fully charged for my iPhone. So welcome to the MacGyver Sexy Live After Dark Yes and Brand Show edition. Woohoo! I was made for this because it's war conditions, and this is improv, folks. So we are completely. I got a little bit of light here from a candle. I'm going old school with a candle here. So we're gonna go as long as my iPhone has battery juice. So we'll see how long this actually goes. But yeah, no, this is completely live and improvisational. So hey, everybody. All right. So, for those of you joining me, thank you. Hopefully we'll get the power back on soon. I am the author of Stop Boring Me, and my whole thing is really about bringing together improvisational elements and ways of using them, stage elements, into the way that we think about business storytelling and business content and the way that we present ideas so that we don't have to be boring. And that's really what it is. Stop Boring Me is about banishing boring. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I promised you we were gonna talk about some ways to come up with ideas and new ideas for content. So you're gonna get that as long as I have battery juice. All right, that is my Yes and Brand promise to you folks. All right, so here's a really interesting exercise. And I was going to use the whiteboard, but I'm afraid since I don't have a microphone and I don't have power, you won't be able to hear me when I'm at the whiteboard. So here's old school. Here's what I did is I used paper. So here's what we're going to do. I want to show you a really quick, easy exercise that I love. Because improv is all about collisions of ideas. It's all about having idea orgasms. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. It's all about how do I take different things that seemingly on the surface wouldn't belong together and associate them in new ways such that I have an idea orgasm. Idea orgasms for everybody. You can give them to yourself. You can give them to other people. They're fun in groups. Everybody should have idea orgasms. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to take a piece of paper. I'm going old school for this live Sexy After Dark edition. I'll go to old school. And I want you, 3 columns. I want you to put your passions, list your passions. The second column is going to be your customer passions. And I think sometimes the way writing gets flipped, I don't know if they fixed it, but the iPhone for Facebook Live sometimes flips the image, does a mirror image. So, all right, passions of your customers. And then I want you to write topics. So I want you to have 3 columns. And I want you to write down all your passions. What is important to you? Now I've got some examples of passions here. I put environment. I put surfing. I put pets. I put zombies. And I put crowdsourcing. Now, these are not exactly all my passions. These are just passions that I'm thinking of. That could be your passions, just random passions. So I completely just randomized it, improvised it. All right, that's column 1. The second column is passions of your audience, because it's really important to connect what you do to what your audience cares about. So here's what I wrote down, completely, randomly, improvisationally. Social responsibility, traveling. Who doesn't like traveling? Movies. I like movies. To do good in the world, which I guess is sort of a little bit of social responsibility. And then I put fashion. All right? Okay, now in that third column, I put topics. So what's trending? What's topical? And I was just kind of randomly listing some things that are topical. Thanks, I appreciate the love. I'm so appreciative. Thank you. All right, so here's some ideas that I put for trending topics. I put Snapchat. It's a lot of hubbub over an IPO, something like that. So Snapchat. I put startups. I put Oscars. We're in Oscar season. Taxes. Woo. And if you want to get a little bit political, but you still want to have fun, you don't want to talk about who's president, who's not president, but you want to talk about a big trending topic is alternative facts. Okay, that's a big topic, and you can have some fun with that without really getting political, I think, because it's sort of just a fun kind of thing. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one of these from each column, and I want you to randomize. Just pick something from this column, something from this column, something from this column, and mash them together into an idea for a story or a topic. Just let's do it right here together, completely random. Let's pick something, all right, from our little own drawn whiteboard. There we go. All right. So let's just take pets. I like pets. I'm feeling like I just let my dog in because the whole cabana that we have outside nearly flipped over in the storm, and my poor dog was scared. So, Buddy, on behalf of Buddy, I am taking together pets. On behalf of Buddy, I'm gonna say let's just talk about traveling because I'm feeling the love. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Yael. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Sexy Live After Dark. I ain't got no power edition. All right, so let's take pets. Let's take traveling. Traveling's speaking to me right now. And Lynn, hey, Lynn, my friend Lynn is joining, and Lynn is in New Zealand. So hey. Now let's take something like Snapchat. Snapchat with the whole IPO is very topical. Now let's try to combine some of these ideas together. So we have pets, we have traveling, and we have Snapchat. All right, how might we combine these things into a topic that our audience cares about? Suppose that your business is about coaching. Maybe you're a personal coach, and that's your job, and you help people grow, and their own personal growth, their business growth, whatever. So you're a personal coach. All right, maybe you could talk about how taking your pets, traveling around the world, and document that story on Snapchat and talk about what you learned everywhere you went by talking to other pet owners in different places, and how Snapchat allowed you to document that and hold you accountable as a personal coach to your clients wherever you traveled. What did it teach you about coaching? What did it teach you about personal responsibility? What did it teach you about accountability and community, that you can build a virtual community anywhere you travel, and that seeing the world through the lens of a pet? Pets are unconditional, and they're not afraid, and they'll go up to anybody and lick them, most pets. And how does that teach you about meeting people? And how does it teach you about growing and personal growth everywhere you travel? Now you actually have some really narrow focuses or lenses, if you will, for what you might write about, what you might talk about, how you might put a post up, maybe some pictures, some visual stories, some things that are really specific to you. Lynn is in Wellington, and when you're traveling to New Zealand, my dog misses me so much that he creates his own Snap channel to top me. I love it. Wouldn't that be funny? Here's what you could do. Yeah, set up a Snapchat channel with the name of your pet. For me, it'd be Buddy's Travels. And what would your dog say? What would your dog do? What kinds of Snapchats would your dog make in different places? And that could be kind of fun too. I mean, you have to be kind of out of it to not realize that it was fake and that it was a person, So it's okay to have a fake profile as a pet, because you kind of have to be not all there if you think the pet's actually doing that. That'd be a pretty darn smart pet. All right. Some days I had a cat. I thought my cat was out, trying to kill me. I still think it was plotting to kill me. So every day I woke up happy. All right, so there's a way to combine it. Maybe let's try another example. You take surfing. Take social responsibility. Well, that's a little bit maybe too much. Let's try something different. Surfing, maybe movies, and then startups. Surfing, movies, and startups. Okay. So maybe you actually are you help people with startup pitches. And that's your job. So startups is sort of, part of your job. It's topical. And there's a lot of startups in Silicon Valley, tons and tons. So it's a very topical thing. We're all using apps. We're in a world of technology. It's human 2.0. We're all trying to figure out where the line between automation and human is. All right. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. Welcome to the Live After Dark Storm Edition, where we got no power, but you got the power. All right. So you might try something like, all right, they're surfing and movies. Can we combine these first two? Well, you know what comes to mind for me? Keanu Reeves in Point Break. Duh. Point Break. You might, what did we learn out of that movie? And can we combine it with startups? What what lessons maybe did we get out of Point Break that we could apply to startups? Or maybe what discipline does surfing teach you? And can we combine it with different movies? And how is surfing, maybe a surfing documentary, Half Moon Bay, where they just kind of canceled a lot of the different, major kind of surf things because they didn't have money. But how does Conquering That Wave, and are there movies about surfing that teach us something that we can apply to startups? Maybe how to write. Surfing teaches extreme control and discipline. How does extreme control and discipline apply to startups? How might we create, think about surfing, the lean surfing startup? Well, what does that metaphor mean? It means, how do we have control in the ups and downs of our business? What surfing can teach you about how to run a startup? And what lessons from Point Break could we apply to that? Now you've got a much more narrow lens, again, that your audience is going to say, well, I love to surf and I love startups, and that article speaks to me. The key here is you got to start with what you care about and what your audience cares about. Now, there's two ways to get that information. You can get that information by asking, doing surveys, talking to your audience. What do you like to do when you're not doing business? What motivates you? What's your personal life look like? You can also do surveys. You probably have data. If you're a bigger company, you have data. If you're a small company, that's okay. You don't need tons and tons of data. You probably have a little bit of data about what kinds of things they're consuming on your site. What do they like? Just ask them. Do a small survey and find out. Talk to a couple of your key clients. What do they care about? They're probably representative of a lot of stuff. Lynn has a comment here. She says, catch a wave. Oh, yeah. And you're sitting on top of the world. Beach Boys and startups. I think that's awesome. What Mike Love or, the Beach Boys could teach us about, startups and what does it mean to be on top of the world and, lessons from, whatever, and just find ways to take these things that look distinct and look separate and find a way to combine them. When you have a lens that's very personal about the things that you're passionate about, you're going to speak to your audience. Hey, Celeste. Hey, Farnaz. Hey, everybody. You're going to speak to your audience in ways that I think are really, really amazing. My lens through a lot of the world is not just improv, it's comedy, because I actually started in stand-up comedy, and I've been doing improv and sketch and stand-up for many, many, many years, for 20 years. So I also ran marketing in corporate marketing, and I'm a nerd with graduate degrees from Berkeley and Stanford. So I write a lot about kind of nerdy storytelling. And I do it through the lens of what can comedy teach? What does improv teach us? How does it teach us to just go ballsy? How does it teach us to go scrappy? Like in times like this where my power went out and I'm doing it by candle. But you know what? It's not going to stop me. I'm a seasoned improviser. I'm just going to go with it. And what can we learn about just going with it? What can we learn from just embracing our inner improviser in business? So I write from that lens. What can you write about? Hey, Dean, it's good to see you. Good to see you. What can you write? Again, remember your passion. Never give up on your passion. I think one of the things that the mistakes people... Oh, thank you. It is kind of sexy lighting. It's sexy lighting for sexy people. And y'all sexy people, so we're going to get some sexy lighting up in here. I got my berry whiteboard. Oh, yeah, in the back. All right. So... start with your passions. Again, I really want to emphasize this. I think too often businesses chase what everybody else cares about, but you got to anchor it in your own passions because that shouldn't change. Your story, your brand story is rooted in what you care about and who you are. And if you don't know what you stand for, you don't have a solid brand story in the world. Get that straight. Get that really clear. I care about storytelling. I care about content. I was a senior director of marketing in high tech for 15 years. I care about comedy. I care about improv. Why do I care about that? Because it makes us flexible. It makes us adaptable. I care about that. I care about being human. I care about speaking without a script. I don't need a stinking script. I don't need no stinking script, and you don't either. It helps us be more human. Now, when you think about your customer's passions, it's really important to map that out, because your customer does not buy from you because they want to write you a check. Newsflash, your customer doesn't care about writing you a check. Nobody calls me and goes, "Hey, Kathy, my comedy's broken. Can you get over here and fix my comedy sink?" I wish. My improv's broken. No. It's like, "Kathy, I'm not connected in my story. Can you help with that?" Yeah, I think so. Improv are simply tools to do that. So you have to understand what the pain points are and what your audience cares about. And it's not about writing you a check. They don't care about that. They care about their needs, their world, being better, looking good, convenience, their lives being better. Write that down. And then again, make it topical. You want to tie into trends too, because it's not only going to give you a bump up in SEO, in top of mind, but it's a way to take something really topical and tie it into something really, really relevant. Okay, you sexy people, lots of sexy people joining us. Mia's so sexy. Mark is sexy. Ross is sexy. You got some sexy people with some sexy lighting. Who needs power? Who needs power? Lynn is very sexy. We got all that stuff. All right, we got all that stuff going. All right. All right, that's awesome. That's so awesome. I got all these really wonderful people, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Storm edition of Yes and Brand. So again, tie these things in, keep that SEO going, get that juice, that top of mind juice that's going on, and find a way to have collisions of ideas. Improv is really about the unexpected, and the more that we can combine worlds, combine your personal, maybe your love for photography with your ability as a, maybe your business's insurance. Well, how do those two tie? What kind of special things could you write? What kind of tips? How is insurance like a camera lens? And what do we need to know about our filters? And how do we clean our filters? And how does that tie into what's going on with maybe tech trends? 5 tech trends that'll affect, your insurance needs, and why thinking like a photographer can help you in your business, whatever that stuff is. You all are so sexy. You guys are sexy. You guys have out sexy. You guys have. I'm feeling the sexy love today. Barry whiteboard back here. He's helping me out. So that's just an exercise I like to do. It's also, I'll let you know, it's one of the ways when we write sketch comedy, and I'm working with sketch comedy groups, it's the way that we generate ideas. We'll just list out all these different random ideas, and how do we look for the intersections? How do we look upside down? How do we look backwards? How do we take different things that you'd think on the surface don't even belong together and make these really interesting random associations? And the really, really amazing thing about that is the more that you look for these different random associations, actually you're creating new synapses in your brain and you're strengthening your creative muscles. You're actually doing like circuit training for your brain without having to wear the sexy spandex. Because you don't need that sexy spandex. You're sexy people. You can wear the sexy spandex, but you're still doing great stuff for your brain, and you're training your brain to think in all these different amazing ways. So that's just one exercise I wanted to share. And I didn't get to use the whiteboard. I was worried about the lighting today because we're going a little rogue without the power. I'm laughing at myself because it really was a MacGyver situation today. My garage door was locked because I got home and I had no power, so I couldn't get into my house. I can't tell you how I broke into my house. I did. I MacGyvered that, and then I got the dog in, and then I had to figure out how to like hotspot my iPhone and get that going. So I'm a little bit of like Mission Impossible. A little bit of that mixed with a little MacGyver, and like I took a pin and like a safety pin and like jerry-riggered like a Wi-Fi hotspot. And then I got my sexy candle and got on with you guys. So, woo! But I said no. I committed to doing this exercise today. We're doing it. Improv. The show goes on. We're going to find a way. We're going to go over the fence, through the fence, dig a hole through the fence, put a window in the fence, but we're doing it because we're improvisers, we're adaptable, we're leaders, and we're sexy people. So that's what we're doing. So I want to turn it over to you, sexy people. I'm so glad to see everybody here. You guys are sexy people, and you're all MacGyvers in your own world. I think we have to be. We have to be adaptable, and I'm sure you guys can relate, because I know many of you I already know personally, and you guys are amazing in your own right, and you know how it is when something doesn't work and you just roll with it and you find a way to make it work. And I think those are opportunities to show what we're made of. So I kind of welcome those things, because that's like, all right, nah, I got this. We're going to do this. This is going to be fun. And just have fun with it. Aw, thanks, Ross. Well, it takes one to know one. You're a pro. You're a pro at what you do. And I always learn so much from Ross. I want to give a shout out to Ross, because every time I'm listening, and I love that Mia gets on there, but every time I'm listening to one of Ross's broadcasts and one of his live streams, he's talking to somebody that I learned something from every single time. And I'm like, I did not know that. So that is something I did not know. And I just walk away feeling like I met some cool people. I had a great time. I met a John Krasinski lookalike yesterday, and he was pretty cool. But I learned, in all fairness to Mark, Mark gave out some great information, and I just had a great time. So thank you. And I'm just honored I'm always honored to listen to Russ. I learn from you guys, and I learn from Mia and everybody on here. You got any questions, everybody? What questions do you have? I know I'm giving a lot, but I think I'm sort of jacked up. I'm like totally jacked up, because I literally had all these hurdles just to get in here today to do the show. And I was like, I MacGyvered this whole thing. I am not gonna then punt on the show after I had to do what I had to do to get into my house and make this happen. So we're doing it. We're doing it, sexy people. Checks in the mail. Woohoo. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd have a nickel. All right. Any questions for you people? Any comments? This is fun. I'm having a great time. I think one of the things that I will say that I'm really grateful for is that training. And I think if you can make your own fun, and if you can just go into anything with a sense of fun, your audience is with you, and that much I know. From all the years, I had to, running marketing in high tech, and when a presentation would go down or technology would break, which is inevitable, you just embrace the unexpected. I think that's where the fun is. And I think we miss the fun in marketing because we're so busy trying to be perfect or get every condition right, and it's just impossible. And I think if you just embrace the playfulness and just go, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's just make it happen. I think it's awesome. Idea orgasm. Speaking of sexy, well, we had idea orgasms today with all these different things, right? So, and this is nice because you can have the idea orgasms in a group. You can have group idea orgasms, or you can give them to yourself. You can have solo idea orgasms, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly natural. We all do it. There's no shame. There's no shame. We're gonna destigmatize self idea orgasms. Sometimes those are the best. So I think you can have them by yourself. Just have a lot of fun. And I really encourage you to do that. Don't abandon the other tools that work for you, but just maybe incorporate some of these other tools. And there's a whole lot of tools in my book. Stop boring me. What? It will make you sexier. Not that you people need it, because you're already sexy. But it's going to give you some sexy ideas for having orgasms. Content orgasms, story orgasms, and just thinking differently about how to apply some improvisational thinking to your world. So there it is. Ross, one of the best shows was when I locked myself out of the house. Oh, that's so funny. Isn't it true? I called my husband and I said, I am about to, I think, do a live show in my car. And which would have been okay. I would have totally embraced that if that's what it took. But he kind of gave me some clues about how to MacGyver this thing. So I'm either going to rock my show, I told him, or I'm going to blow up my house. I don't know. Luckily, I was able to kind of figure that out. But that's so funny, Ross. I think sometimes these are the things that these imperfect situations bring out your brilliance and your ability to handle it. And so I was going to do it in my car. I was perfectly prepared for that. And I think that would have been fun because I couldn't wait to share these exercises with you. But I'm so grateful I was able to get in, so at least I could use some paper and old school it a little bit, versus trying to describe it. Yes, you've been there. You've been there. Yeah, the house is still there for you and for me. So, whoo. Oh, yeah. Going old school. Sometimes old school works. So there you go. Oh my gosh. Well, I know all of you guys have great idea orgasms too, because you guys are such creative people. And, you know, whatever works for you, I'm in favor of. And I don't think you should abandon what works for you, but I think one of the beauties about incorporating thinking differently in a different exercise is that after a while, it's kind of like wearing glasses without cleaning your lenses. After a while, you get the same results and you don't see anything new because you've been doing things the same way. So I really encourage people to stop, back away, disrupt yourself and do something different. Try a different exercise because you're going to see things you didn't see before just by virtue of the fact that you attempted something different and you did something different and you tried something different. So disrupt yourself. Don't throw away what works for you. But really, I encourage you to try a different exercise here and there if you're getting the same results over and over. That's your brain's way of saying, can't see anything new anymore. So get out of your own way. Get a different exercise. Try that. You don't have to wear, the headband or anything. You don't even have to wear the sexy spandex if you don't want to. But just get out of your own way and have some fun with it, and you'll come up with some new ideas. So I think that's really what it's about. Oh my goodness. I'm so appreciating the love. I'm so appreciating the support, guys. Thank you so much, because, I just really wanted to make it happen and stick to this, because I said I was going to do it today, and I was really excited to share that. I'm going to share every Friday on the next few weeks. I'm going to share a different tool from the book, a different exercise that you can use at home. And hopefully next week we have power and I can use the whiteboard. And then starting end of March, I'm going to start having guests. Ross is going to be one of my guests. Lynn's going to be a guest. Mia, all these different people. I'm looking out. I'm gonna be calling you guys. But I'd love for you to share your expertise on Yes and Brand about how you make things work. How do you yes and whatever comes your way? And how do you make things work for you? And what can you show and teach and help other people with? So I'm really excited about doing that. I think it's a culture. Yes and is more than just improv, and it's the central tenet of improv, but it's more than that. It's a culture and it's an attitude of embracing whatever comes your way. And I think that's what brands have to do today. So I'm super excited. So no, I can't wait to have you on, Ross. I'm really super excited. And Lynn, thank you so much for joining from Wellington in New Zealand, and that's so great. And Mia and Yael we had Dean pop in and out. We had my friend Farnaz, who's also an improviser and an educator. We just had some great people here, and you've made my job so fun today. So I'll take any last minute questions, but if you ain't got them, then you know what, sexy people? I'm going to let you go on being sexy. I'm going to let you... Thanks, Lynn. Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. You guys made it fun. You made my day. You made my day. So now, if only the power would come back on, because we're so used to power that I keep going into every room and automatically, like a biological tick, turning the light on and going, it's just right, we don't have power. So there you go. All right, sexy people. This was fun. We will see you next Friday, hopefully with power, at 10 a.m. Pacific on the Yes and Brand Show. So, all right, be sexy. Have a sexy weekend. Bye.